I'm 68 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Everything you think you know about having it all is a beautiful lie. And the worst part? The people selling you this dream, the influencers, the success coaches, the self help gurus, they're either deceiving you or they're trapped in the same illusion. You see, I spent the first 47 years of my life chasing a version of success that nearly destroyed me. I thought I was winning. I had the executive title, the designer wardrobe, the picture perfect Instagram life before Instagram even existed. But at 47, something happened that cracked open my entire reality. And what I've learned in the 21 years since then has fundamentally changed how I understand happiness, purpose, and what it means to truly live. But before I tell you what shattered my world, I need you to understand something crucial. The reason I'm sharing this story isn't to seek validation or position myself as some enlightened guru. I'm sharing this because time is slipping through my fingers faster every day, and there are truths you need to hear before you waste decades learning them the hard way. Not for my sake, for yours. At 47, I collapsed in my office bathroom. One moment I was touching up my lipstick before a presentation to the board, and the next I was on the cold tile floor, my vision tunneling to black. When I came to in the emergency room, a young doctor with kind eyes told me I'd had a severe panic attack, complicated by exhaustion and malnutrition. Malnutrition? I was a successful woman who could afford any restaurant in the city, and I was malnourished because I'd been skipping meals to fit in more meetings. The psychiatrist they sent to my room said I was experiencing burnout so severe that my body had simply shut down. She said I was fortunate. Fortunate? I had just been betrayed that my own mind and body, and she called it good fortune. But you know what? She was absolutely right. Because lying in that sterile hospital room, forced into stillness for the first time in years, I had a revelation that terrified me to my core. I had been performing my entire life. I wasn't living authentically. I was playing a role, meeting arbitrary standards, desperately trying to prove I was enough to people whose opinions didn't actually matter. And here's what still makes my chest tight when I think about it. If I had died that day, if my heart had given out instead of my mind, what would my life have meant? A corner office with my name on the door? A closet full of power suits? A list of accomplishments that would be forgotten before my obituary was even published? Let me tell you the most dangerous lie you're probably believing right now. I just need to get through this busy season. Once this project is done, I'll rest. When I reach this goal, then I'll focus on myself. After I prove myself, then I'll start living. I see women everywhere, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, and they're all reciting the same script. When I lose the weight, then I'll be confident. When I meet someone, then I'll be complete. When the kids are independent, then I'll pursue my dreams. When I retire, then I'll finally do what I want. Let me save you decades of exhaustion with this truth. That moment of arrival never comes. You want to know why? Because the finish line is a mirage. You reach one goal and society immediately hands you another. You achieve the body and suddenly you need to maintain it. You get the promotion and suddenly you need the next level. You're constantly running toward a destination that moves every time you get close. And before you realize it, you're 68 years old wondering who you actually are beneath all the accomplishments. I did this. I spent 25 years building a resume only to realize when I finally stopped to breathe that I had no idea who I was without my job title. And you can't go back and reclaim those years. Time is the one thing you can never earn back. Here's something nobody wants to admit when they're young and hungry. Achievement is an empty substitute for fulfillment. And I say this as someone who achieved every goal I set for myself. I became vice president of my company. I bought the penthouse apartment. I had people seeking my advice and admiring my success. And you know what? It was hollow. You reach the milestone, and for maybe 2 days, you feel incredible. Then the high fades. You're back to feeling inadequate. Now you need a bigger achievement, more recognition, external proof that you matter. It's an addiction disguised as ambition. I had a colleague who died 4 years ago at 65. She worked 12-hour days for 40 years, built an impressive career, never took her vacation days, kept saying she'd slow down after this quarter. After never came. She had a massive stroke at her desk. At her memorial service, her daughter stood up and said, "My mother was admired by hundreds of people, but I'm not sure she ever truly enjoyed her life." Is that the ending you're writing for yourself? Your regrets won't be about your failures. They'll be about the life you didn't let yourself live. I don't lose sleep over the promotions I didn't get or the deals that fell through. Those are meaningless. You know what haunts me? The year I could have spent in Italy but didn't because I couldn't take that much time off. The friendship with my college roommate that faded because I was always too swamped to visit. The art classes I always wanted to take but never started because I wasn't talented enough. The evenings I didn't spend with my daughter because I was answering emails. These are the ghosts that visit me, the moments I traded for meetings, the experiences I postponed indefinitely, the joy I deferred, the person I could have been if I'd had the courage to disappoint people's expectations. The people you love, your parents, your siblings, your dearest friends, you think you have endless time with them. You are wrong, and one day that truth will hit you like a physical blow. My mother died when I was 51. We had a beautiful but complicated relationship, as mothers and daughters often are, and I was perpetually too overwhelmed to really nurture it. I kept thinking we'd have those deep conversations when my schedule calmed down. My schedule never calmed down. Stroke, gone in 3 days. And you know what I regret most? All the Saturday mornings I didn't spend with her, all the times I cut phone calls short because I had so much to do, all the little moments I sacrificed to the god of productivity. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. After my collapse, I made radical changes, stepped down from my role, started declining obligations that depleted me, started accepting invitations to things that scared and excited me. In these last 21 years, I've discovered more about who I actually am than I did in the previous 47. What matters is almost embarrassingly simple. Time with people who see you, not your achievements. Work that aligns with your values, not society's approval. Experiences that make you feel alive, not possessions that make you look successful. Building a life, not a resume. Being fully present instead of always planning the next thing. I know this sounds naive. When I was your age, I would have dismissed this as privilege talking. That's lovely, but I have responsibilities. And yes, you do. I'm not suggesting you abandon your obligations. I'm saying don't abandon yourself in the process of meeting them. Here's a question I want you to sit with, and I mean really sit with. If you died tomorrow, would you feel like you'd actually lived? Not would people be impressed by what you accomplished, not did you check off enough boxes, just would you feel like you'd experienced your one wild and precious life? If the answer is anything other than an immediate yes, then what exactly are you waiting for? What are you doing with your irreplaceable days that's so critical you're willing to bet your entire existence on it? I'm 68 years old. I've been blessed with relatively good health since that breaking point, but every morning when I open my eyes, I'm acutely aware that I'm living on borrowed time. We all are, actually, but most young people move through the world as if they're immortal. They think they have infinite chances. You don't have infinite anything. I have two grandchildren, both girls, and when I watch them, I see the same patterns I see in so many young women today. They're exhausted, they're performing, they're contorting themselves into shapes they think will make them lovable. They're repeating the same mistakes I made. And I try to tell them, I try to share what took me decades to learn. But you know what? They can't really hear me. Not because they're not listening, but because they're still in the middle of the story. They can't see the full picture yet. They think their circumstances are different, that the wisdom of previous generations doesn't apply to their modern lives. That's why I'm creating this video, because maybe, just maybe, if this message reaches enough people, someone will actually pause. Someone will make a different choice. Someone will avoid waking up at 68 full of regret about the life they didn't let themselves live. Every single day, you're one day closer to the end. Nobody wants to dwell on this reality, but pretending you have unlimited time is the most dangerous form of denial. Your parents, if they're still here, they're aging every single day. One day, sooner than feels possible, they'll be gone. Your friendships, your partnerships, your children's childhoods, none of these are permanent. Time is taking them all from you, slowly, inevitably. So what are you going to do? Keep telling yourself you'll call next week? Keep postponing that conversation? Keep promising yourself you'll make time when things settle down? Or are you going to wake up right now, today, and start living like someone who understands that time is the only thing you can never get more of? Because that's the truth no one wants to face. If I could sit down with my 35-year-old self, here's what I would tell her. Stop performing for people who will forget you existed 5 years after you're gone. Stop destroying your health to climb a ladder that's leaning against someone else's wall. Stop postponing your life until you've earned the right to live it. Stop waiting for permission to take up space in your own existence. Start calling your mother just to talk, not just when you need something. Start taking the trips that call to you. Start doing the things that terrify and exhilarate you in equal measure. Start releasing obligations that don't serve your actual life. Start embracing experiences that feed your soul. And most critically, start immediately. Not after this quarter, not when you're less busy, not when you saved enough money or lost enough weight or achieved enough success. Right now, this moment. Because I can promise you this, the perfect moment will never arrive. Life will always be chaotic and demanding and full of reasons to wait. But if you keep waiting, you'll wake up one day and realize you spent your entire life in the waiting room. I'm 68. If I'm fortunate, maybe I have 10 more good years, maybe 15 if I'm extraordinarily lucky, probably fewer. And I've made peace with that because these last 21 years have been the most authentic of my existence. Not because I achieved more, because I finally started living deliberately, savoring moments, choosing what actually matters. I've traveled to countries I only dreamed about, rebuilt my relationship with my daughter into something honest and beautiful, taken painting classes and made terrible, joyful art, forgiven people I wasted energy resenting, told people I loved them more times than I can count. I'm happier now at 68 with less time remaining than I was at 35 when I thought I had forever. That's the paradox. When you truly understand that time is finite, you finally start living. You stop squandering it. You stop delaying joy. You start creating meaning. You have a choice right now. In this moment, continue living the way you're living, chasing validation, postponing your authentic life, telling yourself you'll live later, or wake up, understand that time is disappearing faster than your mind can comprehend, and the life you're saving for someday needs to start today. I can't make this decision for you, but I can tell you this. You don't want to be 68 looking back, haunted by the person you never let yourself become. Don't waste 47 years learning what I'm telling you now. Learn from my mistakes. Live intentionally. Choose what matters. Stop waiting for permission. Someday is not coming. Someday is now. It always has been. If this message resonates with you, share this video, leave a comment, tell me what you're going to change. Subscribe because I have more hard truths to share and the clock is ticking for all of us. Time is running out. What are you going to do with yours?